of metal right here. And it's going to have a specific of different size mandrels with different radiuses that I can put on my metal, and I can bend it around that, and it'll bend it for me. Does that make sense? So in reality, what this is going to do then is it's going to take that piece of metal right there and go like that, isn't it? Are you with me okay? Now, if this right here is a certain radius right there, can this be the same radius out here? No, it can't. What's the radius of this out here? It's this radius plus my what?
Thickness.
Thickness of material, right? So now, on the bracket, what does it tell me about my fillet and rounds on the bracket? What are my fillets equal to?
0.313.
0.313? What about my rounds? Now, what is the thickness of this material?
0.313.
What?
0.313.
If I add plus 0.313, what do I come up with, approximately? Does that make sense? So I just noticed a couple of you did that. Does that make sense what I'm talking about now? So whatever you have here, don't make this and this the same radius, because they are not the same radius. Okay? Now, a lot of you got that right, but I just wanted to maybe remind a few of you. Okay, so what we're going to do now is let's go ahead and make an assembly of this part. Okay, because most of you have your parts, you're okay with drawing in parts, right? So now we're going to bring in our different parts to build an assembly. Now, your assembly in AutoCAD does not have to be a 3D. It can be a straight view, one view drawing. Are you with me okay on that? Yes. So, now when we get into Inventor and SolidWorks, then we can automatically do the isometric and exploded isometrics and everything we want very easily. Okay, so with this assembly right here, everyone's okay with these sheets, having drawings on the sheet, so, okay.
No, I don't have the sheet.
Okay, you aren't quite there yet, are you? Okay, that's fine. Right. So, first of all, if we look at this assembly, what part should we start with, do you think? I'd probably say this one right here, with you. Okay, I'm going to do one thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's one. That's the one on the bottom.
Yes.
Aren't we given the assembly drawing pretty much? On the paper we got?
Pretty close, yes. I'm just showing you how to make it. Now, that's an isometric one, though, right? We're doing a single view of it. Because we don't have these in 3D. So that's what I'm saying. So we're going to start building for this little bracket, aren't we? That'd probably be a pretty good way of starting. So what I need is, I'm going to start looking at that because that's going to show me the most detail and then build it up from there. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to copy this view right here and come down here. Now, on your assembly, you don't need any dimensions, so I'm just going to delete all my dimensions off of here, okay? That makes sense? There's my starting point. Okay? Now, on our assembly now, from here now, this little U-bar fits in here, right? Now, which view do I want to come right here? This view or this view?
That one.
This is the front view, right?
Yeah.
So let's copy one of those over. And let's erase your dimensions. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Now, somewhere, if I were to draw me a line now, maybe from here up to here, I could move this much from the midpoint right there to there, right? And then erase this line. So that U bracket is going to slide down some distance, right? Are you with me there, okay? Now, on your assembly drawing, let's get one to see exactly what it says. Is there an extra one around? Or can you guys, can you share the one? Thank you. Okay. Now, we have a little spacer. It's called number 4, right? It fits right in here, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, and what does it say when you went over to dimension the spacer? How high is it? What's the height?
1/4.
The height on the drawing is what? Determined by user, right? That makes sense? So, let's first of all take this bracket here, and I'm going to move him. Okay, so he could actually come through down to here, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so all we need is he could be any size we want him to be, right? You could have him 1 inch, 7/8, 3/4, 1 1/4. Okay, are you with me? You want that to sit up. So, what we've got is we've got a spacer right here, and we opted to do 1 1/4 on this one right here, right? So I want this view here now moved down. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, everyone's might be different. Okay? Everybody's might be different. So now, they did this one right here. But now what I've got to do is I've got to put that point right there, right to this point right here, don't I? So, let's move this here from that intersection, or it should be midpoint, to that point right there. Are you with me? You see how I'm building my assembly now with my snaps? And so now what I can do is I can move this view right here now from this point down to this point right here, correct? So those 3 parts are parts already assembled in my assembly so far. Now, I come up here now, and we have that stud there, right? So where's our stud? Right here. Now, do not worry about doing threads. I want to show you how to do the assembly and how to load your bill of material and put balloons on it today, okay? And then I do have to run a letter out for my wife. She's written a letter. It's supposed to be into an insurance company about a month ago, and I have it hidden in my car. And I know she's going to ask me tonight if I've done it, you know. All I need for her to do is find that in my car, and then she'll be really upset at me. Okay, so here's our shaft right here. So what I'm going to do now, this shaft now comes over here and sticks down here, doesn't it? So let's copy this one here over here. Let's erase that. Now let's move it from the midpoint here up to that point right there, right? That makes sense? Now, in reality, what we could do now is we'd say, well, I just want to see what I physically see. I want to get rid of all my hidden lines. I could do that very easily with this assembly, couldn't I? If I were to do it with this assembly, I would be erasing this line here and this line here, and I would be trimming out and that's what I would see right there, isn't it? Are you with me what you're trying to do with your main assembly?
Yeah.
You don't have to show all the hidden lines. You get rid of them. And that's why when we will do some in Inventor and SolidWorks, but then we can do an exploded isometric and pull them out so you physically see the whole part. Okay? So now what we have to do is, I think there's a nut and a washer on the bottom of that, right? So you can bring those parts in and just stick right there, couldn't you? Now, don't worry about drawing the nut and washer right now. We'll go over fasteners on Wednesday. Remember, Monday's a holiday, so we'll go over fasteners on Wednesday, okay? But I want you to get so all the pages are finished except for your fasteners. Okay, so now from there we have to put this the swinging pivot in, don't we? Well, we want this view right here of the swinging pivot, don't we?
Yeah.
So let's copy him over. And let's erase our dimension right there. Now, question for you. Let's add us a linear dimension from here to here, 2.5. Okay, 2.874. Okay. Now, if we look at this, on the sides of this, what do I have to put onto this sub-assembly? That little bushing, right? So, two of them, right? Where's the bushing? It's over to here now. And then let's erase that, this, and this. Now, question for everybody. That bushing now, I don't need any of this here because it's going to be hidden anyway, right? I just need that one rectangle on the outside, right? Showing me the little flange of the bushing. Is that correct? So, to make it easier for me, I'm just going to erase. And we can actually erase this because I can see those hidden lines here either, are we? Okay, and then I'm going to rotate him now around 90 degrees, right? So now I could copy now him from this midpoint to this point right here, right?
Mike, I'm sorry, how did you rotate? It's a specified base point?
Okay. Let me undo. Okay, so right now I have that flange part. I need to rotate it so it's going up the other direction to fit on my assembly, right? So, you see where it says rotate right here?
Right.
Hit rotate. What's it asking me to do?
Select objects.
So I'm going to pick all my objects, then what do I have to do?
Hit enter, and it says specify base
point. So pick a base point, because this is what it's going to be rotating about.
So you are selecting MID?
Or I could pick this point here, or anything.
Okay.
So if I pick there, then what's it asking me for?
Rotation angle.
Rotation angle.
And it's saying 0, 0, 0.
I want to rotate it 90 degrees, right?
So we type in 90?
90, yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay. So now I'm going to copy now this here, but I want to go from the midpoint to here. And then I gotta do another copy here though, right? Because now I gotta get this midpoint here to go here. Does that make sense to everybody? I have to do 2 copies on that one, don't I? I can't use my same base point.
Right.
Okay, now, remember, we have 2.874 right here now, don't we? So let's add us a linear dimension, because this has to fit in there, doesn't it? What's wrong now?
3.0.
3.0. So our U bracket isn't wide enough, is it? Or our pivot is too wide. Okay? That's why I like this, because there's an error in it.
Yay.
Okay? But you don't find that error until you start putting it together. So if you just did the individual parts, you'd never probably catch that error, would you?
Right. Well, that particular one, I mean, I went by what said in the pencil,
It-
1 1/4.
Okay? Okay? Does that make sense?
So you just have to take 3,000 off each side.
Okay.
Right?
Now, okay, so we are, what is that? 2.8, that's 7/8, 0.875. So you have 2 7/8 here. So we got 1/8 of an inch. So you need a 16th off each side.
Yeah.
Or we could make this here a little wider here too, right?
You got room.
Exactly.
On.
So if you had to do that, then this spacer you'd have to make higher, right? You see what I'm trying to get you to figure out? How do we want to fix the problem as a class so we all do it the same? Just want to make that pivot a little bit narrower?
I vote for pivot.
The pivot?
I go for the bottoms. I don't like how many.
No, wait,
Leave the pivot alone and change this here?
what's the pivot?
Okay, so do that. Now, if this hits this side here, and the spacer needs to be just a little bit higher here, so it clears this in this point right here. Are you with me now, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get you to see. That's the whole purpose of an assembly drawing, is to see if things fit together okay.
Mike?
So far, most students just copy out of the book and say, that's right, and they never worry about the assembly, and they just put it together. So that's what I'm trying to teach you in this whole assembly, is you put your assembly together, and if you find an error, you say, okay, number one, what's the easiest way to fix it? Someone said, well, I don't want to move all those holes. Probably the best way to do it, because there's a lot of holes on that, right? All you have to do on that U thing is just make it wider apart.
Mike, be prepared to discover that I messed up on that U part.
Oh,
Those vertical lines are lines. They're 2 lines.
oh. So these lines, excuse me, these lines here?
Yes.
Oh,
See?
okay, now, question for everyone, what problem will that get you into?
Well, once we start widening it, then
We can't use those as true full-length lines.
is there a way to join
You
lines?
can erase one and extend it.
Accepted. Okay. Yeah, that's what I should have done, because as I was drawing, I messed up on the measurements.
And now I see why you did it, because that's where that radius starts,
Right. Yeah,
That's exactly what he
I
did
didn't
on
have my
that.
calculator pulled out yet.
Right.
And so I was,
But are you with me how I'm trying to put that assembly together? Now, do I need to put the rest of it together? Are you guys okay? This is the only problem. The other things are okay.
Mike, I would like to see you do the whole thing.
Okay.
Just so that I don't make gruesome mistakes.
Okay, now this is 3 and this is that. So if I put a 3 in if I add this 1/8 of an inch here now, I've got to add just a slightly little more than 1/8 of an inch, 1/1000th more, because it's going to have just a little spring on it right now, like 1/1000th, right? If I want it right flush. Does that make sense? So let's go back then to this. I'm going to move this part here out here, and I'm going to move this part back here. Okay? That make sense? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got to offset this 3 inches, don't I? So maybe what I'll do is I would come from here up to here, and I'm going to offset that just 3 inches. Okay? So I have to move it that far from there to there, don't I? Okay, so I can move now, and I'm just going to move that right there, that much of it right there. From here over to there. Now I've got 3 inches right there, don't I? And I can extend that over to there, right? See how I fix that up? But what do I have to do in my main drawing part, though? I got to change it back in where it's dimensioned, right? Because I want to see 3 inches up in there. But for us, this will fit on our assembly, and then we'll see if that space is going to be too big now or too short. Okay? Now, I just did it one way. There are numerous ways of doing that too, by the way. So let's. Now, what I'm going to do also. I'm just going to draw me another line.
Oh, we inadvertently picked up a line from the
Yes,
spacer.
yes. Okay, so now if I move this from there to there, it still works, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And now I can actually move, let me erase this here. So let's move now all of this here now from that point right there, right? To this point right here, correct? Let's see, it fits right in there, doesn't it? That makes sense, everybody? Now I could, if I wanted to, I could erase this line here, and this line here, and this one here.
No, it still fits.
I'm going to leave this one in for right now, okay? So now, what else do we have to do with that? We have number 7, which is a, what, it's a hex head bolt, right? Now, you don't have the hex head bolt, do you?
No.
What we're going to do is, because that's a special type of, well, it's not this one, it's a different one. Let's try to get this much of it finished with these parts. You see how I'm adding my parts? So on Wednesday, we'll go over nuts, bolts, washers, and we'll add those in, and then we'll have it all finished, okay? Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
So you still need just a little time to tweak your dimensioning on it and put them on the sheets and to build this assembly.
Yeah.
So let's do that today. Is that okay? So at the end of the day, hopefully we have everything, and then we'll do all the fasteners on Wednesday and then finish this up on Wednesday. So we'll draw a nut.
As you remember, the problem with my sheets is that there's a triangular, there's a Bermuda triangle where stuff just disappears.
Right.
And I don't know how to fix that.
So go ahead and do what you can, and then I'll work with you on that.
Okay.
I gotta find out where this place is at. Yeah, she wrote it on the 13th. Oh, shoot. Oh, well.
It's what it is.
I know. Did I shut this down then? Am I okay? Are we good on that? Now, if you want to copy of any address, would anyone giving Legrand a copy of your parts? So how the parts are supposed to be drawn?
This stuff is on the desktop on Mike's computer.
Oh, yeah?
So if you have a flash drive, you can just grab that one.
Yeah.
Or you can take a picture of it too.
That's not really gonna help, Mike.
Well, all she needs is to see how they look. She can draw the parts.
Oh.
She needs to see the orientation of how they all look, right?
Yeah.
And so, how's that? See how we can get to it, how to do this. Good, you bet. Yes, I'm sorry, yes. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Yes. Yeah, I think that's the way that is.
So the way I do it is I also use
Uh-huh. Right, that's what you said, you know, with measurements, it's 1,000 off. So you have to offset those another .0005. That make sense? Because it was 2.874. We needed 3, which is 0.126. Does that make sense? See, that's, yeah, that's it. So we need to go 1,000 more, right? So you have to go 1,500 on both sides.
In the real world, what is this used? Like you put it in like a big fall or it kill it.
Oh, it would, yes, it would. It would, it has some spring in it, yeah, you're right. You are right. I'm just trying to show you, with that roundup, where you're, how to fix it if you want to be
So
right
I
on.
wouldn't do that on my drawings.
Okay? Okay. So,
See, I should be back before we start our advanced class.
Yeah?
Just tell them. Okay. Okay.
All right.
okay, we'll talk to you, let me write that.
Some other time?
Yeah. Well, I'll try to be back. Hopefully it won't take me too long to I just have to drop it off.
Oh, Mike,
What, this is the right address?
a quick question before you leave. I think I fixed my sheet. So on the sheets, with one, with 2 parts per sheet,
Uh-huh.
how do you want
The big part and then maybe a small part, right? Yeah. Get this, like, together, front, top, right side, and yeah, this, the small part up here, the big part there.
Are you going to label them or anything?
Check out the label that all of it is.
All right.
Yeah, no, I don't know, I wouldn't say.
Yes, sir.
Did I like leave an hour early or something? Like, maybe I left a few early.
Okay, I'll see you guys later. I'll probably be back by 2:30. If not,
We'll try to be here when you get back.
Okay, good enough. Good enough. I just got to run, I think it's out to about 80th south, so I can just jump on the freeway and head out. So, should be back.
Okay.
Okay, good there.
Okay. Sweet.
Well, I screwed myself up. Instead of copying the objects, I was moving them.
Oh, yeah, that's the best plan ever.
Right. Now I gotta bring them in back. At least I was smart enough to save the drawing with the new name, so I can bring the old drawing and possibly copy the object off of there.
I'm just plugging in everything.
Ah, I know.
Yeah.
What did I say? Right? Go to school here? No.
Actually, it's not that bad. I only did that with a couple of objects. Wait a minute. Yeah.
So we assembly drawing, we don't need center lines.
He was keeping on some of the center lines.
They all like overlap.
I don't know. I think you could just give it.
But so what he had like that, that's.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we're gonna do the, or no, Wednesday we're doing the fast mask, and then we'll just finish it. Because we'll get all the dogs and stuff drawn with the nuts, and then just finish.
So as long as, once we get that.
Yeah. I'm like, still trying to put center on everything.
Why am I not able to insert this block? Oh, there they are.
Oh, yeah, no, it's like, yeah, I think it's from here, then. Terrible.
Let's see.
What? Who?
Vadim?
Yeah.
Me, right here.
And I'm having trouble trying to get the collection to work on.
Let me,
I'm going to my own snaps trying to see if I have the on, off, or supposed to be. The next place here is off.
oh, the cost itself? I'm not sure. Because if it's selected, yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, for example, I was trying to. So yeah, that's just it.
Open members, yeah. You should take a big welding. What? Welding.
Sometimes it's related to snap, turn it on.
Instead of taking computer classes.
I just use computer classes, but I just said I was worried.
Yeah.
Learn how to.
Oh, yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Learn how to produce.
So that could be,
Like the highlight.
that could be why.
If you're dating, I'm not gonna make a graph. Graphs in Graphs in Excel were the hardest thing for me to learn.
It's not.
Because they have those dumb templates. You can't just like make stuff. They have like dumb, they have to learn how to use the template. Oh, there is nowhere for that. I guess that's
So, yeah, we can. Actually, very good.
dude, that's me.
So the cross was jumping, snapping to the good. But because the movement is limited, that's where we're going to start.
But like the bracket, all that's all there, is all the reading. Yeah, I don't know, like actual measurement.
What do you mean?
Yeah, no, basically,
No, I mean,
I would have to go over. Go over.
Advanced AutoCAD.
Isn't there?
AutoCAD 2020 now,
Unless you are interested.
I'm in the inventor class, which is in but yeah.
You're in the inventor class? How's that
Yeah.
going?
Okay. I'm seeing a lot more than So what's new in 2020? That's where things are located.
The same stuff, but now we're just doing something.
Oh.
But it may be better.
How much is it?
You ever just take a step back and look at it?
Yeah.
That's a program.
Everybody in there. And marketing nowadays.
Somewhat, I like the idea that I can take on.
I'm sure you're using it.
Yeah, I'm really thinking I want to get I'm hoping I'll be one year. I work for a thing I want to first. But I want to do. And all ideas, you know, I'm kind of doing it on. Yes, have to be on. You're the right side.
Yeah.
You're asking what you can let you make sense. And just, okay, just. I try to,
I put it, she didn't like it. She didn't like it. She didn't,
I'm ready for that. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
We'll take your block over there.
Tell me what you.
What you want?
Yeah. 70 bucks. Get out of here. Dude, I didn't do that. Cheap, dude. 200 per year.
I like those. Cool.
He's like, I like people throwing them out.
I've never seen a bug in my house.
Really?
No.
I moved into this apartment complex. First day I walked in. So like, we signed paperwork and stuff. Cockroach. Right out of the trap. I'm like, what the?
I think we're still based on that, wasn't ready.
Oh, no. I know, dude. Yeah, so we went, the contractor here, we set it aside, and we like randomly, yeah, we were doing that.
No, I moved into this little small apartment complex. It's a 7 unit.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty chill. It's over on State Street. Cheap, dude. Cheap stuff.
Ah,
I know.
So did you say we were to try to finish the assembly?
Yeah, we're gonna do the fasteners and we
No, I mean, does he want us to try and finish it, or we're gonna do it together?
we're gonna do the fasteners and we're gonna do it.
So I'm to draw fasteners right now?
No, we're gonna do it next time.
Oh,
Okay, we're all gonna do it.
today is Wednesday, so next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, yeah. That's what he's saying, there's a holiday. What is it, Labor Day?
Labor Day.
Labor Day. That's when they close the outdoor pools. Huh? No, we're gonna celebrate Labor.
By doing labor.
No. We're gonna march with red banners on the main street. So here's the thing. I'm from Estonia. My ethnicity is mixed. I'm part Karelian, part Russian. My mother tongue is Russian, but I'm an Estonian citizen, a U.S. citizen.
Is Karelian an ethnic group?
Karelian is an ethnic group that's divided. The territory is part in Russia, part in Finland. And also, because over the history, there were so many wars in that area, there was a lot of exodus. And so there are Karelians in other places. So my father is from a group called Tved Karelians. Tved is a name of a Russian city. And they had the villages in that area, and they preserved the culture and everything. My father grew up speaking Karelian, but when he went to school, he had to speak Russian because their Stalin Russification policy was saying that's it. You can't speak other languages. You gotta speak Russian. And so then later on, I mean, we lived in Estonia. When he started speaking Estonian, Karelian words would come up, and he would say them, and the Estonians would be like, What? You know, but they're related languages. Karelian, Estonian, Finnish, Hungarians, they're all part of the Finno-Ugric group of languages, which is not even part of the Indo-European group of languages, which is English, German, even Hindi, you know, basically that's the biggest group. That's what most languages belong to, but Finno-Ugric is like, you know, have you studied German or French or, no, haven't studied any other languages? Well, other languages have cases, and usually there's like either 4 or 6 cases, genitive, nominative, and stuff like that. Well, Finno-Ugric languages, like Estonian, for example, has 14 cases.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's different, really different. And it also has, well, it's the Greenland language that they use in Greenland is the one that's famous for having the longest words. But Estonian, for example, has words that have you know, several vowels in a row. So like the word yeah is like edge of ice, but there are 4 you know, letters in a row. So it's interesting. But in any case, I've started putting stuff on the sheets, but the assembly is not complete, so it's too early to do anything with it.
So I understand. So what are you?
Why is it not? Oh, some kind of annotation level. No. What in the world is going on?
No. I don't. I'm not a guy type of study.
Yeah.
No. No, I really do. And what can we do?
Well, I'm itching to do the fasteners and finish the assembly.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to do it.
What did you do?
I'm having a hard time fitting the U support drawing onto the sheet. It like barely fits in a 1x1, 1-to-1, because I've got the dimension as well. I mean, even if I have this dimension on the top. So it's like, look, it's like barely fits in there.
Yeah. Well, drawings, they don't always have, as long as you indicate the scale.
Well, you know, we've been doing 1-to-1, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm used to doing. We gotta move these guys a little bit.
What's the dimension of the
asking how far to remove the circle. So. So. Well. So, within